specifically on sales today, we're going to be focused on the weekly meeting rhythm that keeps the pipeline moving. I'm sure we've all been there. We've created a sales pipeline in an Excel sheet or maybe somewhere in our CRM, and it's got leads coming into it, and then you're having discovery meetings. Some of them have proposals, some of them may have been accepted or lost just yet. And what it looks like for 90% of businesses and accounting firms out there is there'll be records in the sales pipeline system that just linger there. And there never seems to be a resolution. Like, is it lost? Was it a yes or was it a no? There will be leads. There'll be hundreds of leads scraped from some list. Like maybe you're targeting electricians and you scrape the electricians registry list or something. We're going to work on them and start calling them up and getting to action on sales. So one of the number one workflows for salespeople is sales pipeline hygiene. And talking to a ex-head of sales who used to work at Xero and was largely responsible for helping New South Wales accountants adopt Xero. I've been getting sales training from him once a month for over a year now. So I would try things, I'll do practice in front of the camera, or I'll do certain calls with people and I'll ask for his feedback. And then I'll also show him my workflow and systems. And the thing that stood out to me, I would save all the sales, like actual technique advice. But when it came to the workflow and I would show him a list, what he would look for is he would look for what he calls stinkiness. Like, is it a stinky list? Like, is anything rotten and it's just been sitting there for days and no one's touched it and this pipeline has become meaningless? Or is it fresh? And what we're all tempted to do is we're all tempted to just talk about all the top of the funnel opportunities that the firm has. Oh, we have 50 prospects, we sent out proposals, but they haven't accepted yet. Like all this action and nothing closed just yet. What we want to achieve here is we want to ruthlessly cull and keep this sales pipeline clean, because the purpose of a sales pipeline is not just to be a management reporting tool. It's actually a tool of focus. Like in practical day-to-day sales, it would be a tool of focus. So when you're looking at this sales pipeline, it should be clear for each, say, client manager or even yourself, who are the two top priorities I should actually be putting my attention into for trying to close a sale, right? Like, who should I actually be trying to focus my energy on? Who can I call from this list? It's not just a matter of, like, if you have 20 to accept on a proposal, and you'll be tempted just to email each one. If you've only had two, you'd give them a phone call. Okay, so this is all about the sales pipeline hygiene and this meeting rhythm, this simple meeting rhythm that keeps it clean, nothing fancy needed, no fancy technology needed. It's just meeting rhythms and keeping this pipeline clean. Okay, so in this sales meeting rhythm, this is a once a month meeting that you can hold for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And the agenda items that you want to cover in the sales meeting are here. So what leads do you have and what prospects do you have? And just briefly, the difference between leads and prospects is that a prospect is someone who's at least had a meeting with you and you're either going to produce a proposal for them or they've been sent one. And a lead is just someone who looks like they'd qualify as your client, but we haven't had a discovery meeting just yet. Okay, so what leads do you have? What prospects do you have? And what leads and prospects have you lost? Now, some people would be afraid to answer this question. Oh, I haven't lost any leads. I haven't lost any prospects. They're all good. They're all going. I'm going to win them all. This is a natural untrained sales instinct. That is just a natural human instinct that doesn't come from any like sales training or place. A disciplined sales meeting and person in sales would be seeking out an answer to a no just as much as they would a yes with a sale. And with no, it's not like, no, please leave me alone, you're harassing me. It's more like, yeah, no, your proposal isn't going to work out for us, and because of these reasons. Okay, we're not saying harass people until they say no. It's just can we actually help you or not? So we can resolve this and close it out. So what leads and prospects have you lost? In this sales meeting, you want people to share, and you want to see signs where people are trying to find an answer. A no is just as important as a yes, because then at least in this meeting, we'll have something to learn from. What prospects have you won who are now new clients? Okay, so we'll ask this in this question. Have you sold additional services to existing clients or customers? This is an important one. As a client manager, it's often that they have their attention dedicated towards new clients to generate new business and then end up neglecting their existing ones. Being in a relationship business, clients, especially the right clients, will have more work to give the firm as they have more trust with you. So, client managers investing in the client goodwill and emotional bank account, that's what allows them to consult with the client and offer them more services. And this is a sign of, okay, well, are we? And then if we're not, are there signals of this in a low client NPS? Are you too busy? This is something that would raise flags worth investigating so that we can free up client manager time. And what existing clients have you lost and why? And the why part is quite important. It's often clients would just leave. Individual tax return clients won't come back the next year. That's fine. They like to change accountants, sure. With long-term business clients who are most likely the firm's ideal clients, it's quite critical to attempt to find a why. Attempt to find a why where the client's excuse isn't cash flow or something, because we're literally their accountant. This is important because we want to be able to find if there's anything that needs to actually be solved, like fundamentally. Okay? So these targeted questions are asked in the weekly sales meeting every single week. That's the complete implementation of it. And to extend on this and to make this a productive meeting, because it's 30 minutes and at most 60, is to create a Teams or a Slack channel called a sales channel, just like how we do here in Wize, where Sham, you collecting the sales and KPIs from different areas in Wize, from reported by people into that channel, and that gets reported into the meeting. Okay. Now, this is in huge contrast to, say, a different type of business you could be thinking of, where they've got some crazy sales pipeline logic set up thing with automations to like send emails, automations, and for retention and all those sort of things. It's in stark contrast to that because with those sort of systems, I see firms equally in two camps. They either have those systems and they're not making any use of it all. Like they've been sold on it, but they're not the right firm to actually use a tool like that, or they're actually making use of it. And for the firms who aren't the right firm to be using a tool like that, they just find that it's great. It's just requires a lot of love and maintenance and care to get the most out of. Like someone needs to actually care about it. Having questions in a weekly meeting for 30 minutes and a Teams channel for people to report their figures to an operations manager, such as yourself, Sham, in this case, the COO, that's probably the easiest and like lowest barrier way to get our team caring about sales and starting to drive home every single week with them how it is a continuous effort with the firm. Okay? Because we're accountants. We're not trained to be managers. Okay? It's very rarely we've been trained to be managers. It's even rarer we'd be trained in sales. And the last thing we want to do is put roadblocks in front of people with anything too elaborate. We just want to start simple and create a meeting rhythm for people to share these results here and address any culture of blame or insecurity or lack of planning at this stage. And you will naturally lean on a tool that you would want to use. Okay. And what I'll have us do now is, Raul, could you show us again on the Wize Hub where we would store our sales meetings and maybe for everyone's benefit, how we can generate template of that again?
Yeah. So
Yes.
the idea of have all our meetings and everything, it's just to don't lose anything. And for that, we have these meetings mojo that it's called organization meetings. And how I'm been working with clients, Tom, it's just trying to get at least a one meeting of 30 minutes a
Mm.
week. So if you guys already delegated this process to another employee, it's just get the feedback about which client you need to touch base with or anything. Also with yourself, like have with yourself a meeting regarding sales. So sorry, I click production. Here in sales, you can keep everything organized and add a meeting call. So new financial year.
Mm.
So I'm just adding an headway. It will be a viewer. Once we create the sales meeting, oh, sorry, I read this wrong, but yeah, once we created these, we can add here an agenda item. And here we have a couple of templates and it's here. I think
Uh,
we don't have one template for sales. If you guys create, you can create a template regarding your sales, what it's the most common questions that you can have, and it's gonna be here in settings
mhm.
and meeting agendas. So we can create probably five topics about what it's about the sales meetings, what we will need to touch base with, and here in the agenda.
Awesome. So that's where we create new templates. And in the
And
meetings sales is where we save, where we track
yeah.
the minutes and
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. Like we can create like what is the status of the leads, what is the status of the prospects, and who have seen yes, what is the last feedback that we received from those that didn't accept the proposals. So
Mhm.
in that way, the idea is to keep as much information as we can from our sales process, and it's why we encourage that.
Mhm.
So you can improve it. Once we create something here in the sales meeting, I'm just reviewing this test section. Well, we can just add the agenda. It's not necessary also to create the meeting to the template. So if you create one and you can start working from it, you can just copy and paste the same meeting. So see, this is our meeting. It's just one. And if the next week we will be like just touching base regarding the same topics, you can just go here in action and copy meeting test, and it's gonna be for next week or next month.
Hmm.
Mm,
I reckon with the weekly meetings, it probably might be easier to manage to keep the one sales meeting
exactly.
maybe quarterly, and then every week, just just to save us from having 52 meetings there that might we
Oh,
not might. But anyway, but yeah, this is where you would store it. This is where we would be able to track it. What you want going into here, actionable strategic things coming from the sales meeting, because the Wise Hub is a place for where we work on the business. Okay, where you have in your workflow where you instruct where people have to go and start collecting information or do the next thing might be in another system, but here we are tracking the sales meeting. That's great.
yeah. And Tom, just one last thing regarding what you mentioned about keeping like a lot of meetings, we can just archive the meeting once it's done. For example, these
Oh, the
here in
status.
actions. Yeah, actions, edit, and act instead of active, archive. So in this way, we're just keep active those meetings that we are currently using, and that's it.
Nice. Okay, that's great. Actually, I like that because in each of these meetings, even if you create one for each week, you can create a task that would come off it, and then the tasks link back to the meeting, don't they? No matter
Yeah,
which. Okay, and then they will have the meeting week number. Cool. Okay, so
yeah,
this is the place where, as a team, you would go and include the transcriptions and analysis from the sales meeting in there. Okay. One tip I would like to share is sales can feel like demoralizing for a lot of people because it's like they have a target that they would need to reach and they don't really know how to exactly get there. Okay. The challenge is when they're not really sharing with you what they're trying. And in that situation, it's because they're scared that, it's making them look bad. Okay. It's going to make them look bad or that, they might not have you might not have a good opinion about them. In achieving in sales, in most cases, it really stresses upon a no blame environment because there is lots of failure in sales and a scarcity mindset and a cautious one, it doesn't help. Okay. When a person's going to a sales meeting and they're thinking about themselves and how they need to get their targets hit, and then they're not even comfortable doing it themselves, it doesn't help because they're worried about a bad outcome. They're thinking about their livelihood. So it's important to create that no blame culture and share losses, share situations you've lost too with them. And then how what you've learned from that. And no one likes to go in front of their team and go, I'm bad at sales, or I failed here too, or I've implemented this before and I screwed it up. That's totally normal. It's totally normal to just be human, especially when you're trying to address something in your staff, which is it's hard for them because they're lacking the confidence. Okay, so that's going to be the number one challenge as firm owners we're going to face, working together with our team, training them to be client managers, making them decent at maintaining a client relationship, but then getting them to go further to actually look for how they can proactively help a client. And that's what it is in our industry. We're not selling TVs or like the latest computers. We don't have shiny things like that that are consumer grade. Or everyone here, all our work, we deal in compliance, in accounting or bookkeeping. These are all generally pretty serious and to the average person would seem not that interesting. Okay. So we come at the approach of wanting to help the client. It's really just about finding where's the strongest emotion that they're having coming from right now. Is it what they have about their goals, or is it about their fears? And then just to understand it and then help them with the knowledge of our firm versus, okay, I'm selling family trust. Okay, this maybe like years ago. Okay, like selling trust. People are gonna set up trust. Let's hit up everyone and get them a trust. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. It doesn't. The market smells that. It smells what you were planning in the meeting rooms. If we're not actually wanting to help the clients, and if we're not framing everything we do around wanting to help people and helping the right people, the team doesn't get to build their confidence. Okay, so that's one thing around confidence. The second thing about confidence is, and this was from the salesperson that chatting with, he would say, if you have a small lead funnel, like small top of the funnel, then naturally when you do a discovery meeting, you're going to sound desperate. Maybe not, like that's depending on the personality, but generally, if you have fewer opportunities, you're going to want to like feel like you need to grab more of them. Like more than a high percentage of this needs to succeed. And desperation is another thing that Sam would say is a stinky thing. So like people smell desperation. They smell like you really want this. You really, really like you're not thinking about what helps me. You just really want this. So the solution to this is having a plentiful top of funnel. Always putting yourself into a position where it's okay if this what I'm, what we're offering isn't right for this person. I'm not going to waste my time any further. I have somebody else that I need to go and also see and talk to as well. Okay, you're not going to think about it all too much. You'll just think it wasn't right for them. It's not because you're a bad salesperson. You listen to them, it's just not right for them. There's a lot of psychology in it. And where accountants typically lack the confidence to do sales, it's because half it's to do with them, and the other half it's to do with this. It's to do with the environment that the firm has set up to be able to encourage a sales environment. Okay, of the types of accountants who are not business owners, who seem like go-getter sales type, like they're thinking about like, oh, I got these reports, I can deliver this type of service to the client. Those type of managers who think like that, they are very rare. They're rare from everyone's like a general wives observation and a personal observation. When I come across firms and then I get to meet their teams, it's very rare that there would be that type of person in there. Okay, like that firm would have that type of person in there. Okay, so that is on a little. I said I wouldn't go into like sales, like specific stuff, but that I wanted to, I guess I shared that, but that's the sales meeting. You would book it together with yourself and your client managers and your operational manager as well. Okay, and at times you might include marketing personnel in there, because marketing is often required to support sales as well. Thank you everyone for joining today on
Thank
the
you.
sales meeting rhythm. I hope you make your way into the Wize Hub and start tracking your sales meetings in there.